So, if we would move into a new turf today, we have our 6 right here. But we would have to have an additional 6 of randoms to fill up the
That
turf.
actually is a perfect segue into something else I want to talk to you guys about. So, I don't know if you guys have been talked to about this or not, but the topic is Julian. What are you guys' thoughts on Julian?
What are you asking?
Like, if we want him to join us.
I mean,
because I mean, I can start, but for me, from what I know, he's been helping out every single person in this group, and with me personally, he's been really useful in terms of my business. And like, if it wasn't for him, my business would not be either flourishing or expanding. And personally, from what I've experienced with Julian and with AK, I think they work really well together, and they can have some like really great business plans together. So I think he would be a great addition. Those are my thoughts.
I mean, Julian's my boy. I'm kind of biased. So.
I'm not biased because I like met him last week, and I know he hasn't been around much, but like genuinely, I would not be having this business without him. And he's been super helpful. And he brings in good money. He has like, I don't know how much. He's like looking to get a house. He might get it with another group, but I told him to like wait off a little bit, and I'll talk to mine because I kind of want him to be on our side because he has like, how much money he has a lot of money.
I think he's got like 40, 50.
Yeah. Anybody else have any thoughts?
I think it's a valuable asset as well. You're very right. It's been very helpful in a lot of aspects. So, I mean, I'm happy with him on board as well. If he pays his way as like everyone else does, of course.
Yeah.
If we're gonna take over another turf, we need.
I mean, listen, I'm in the same boat as Ming.
Yeah.
I mean, Julian's my boy, so it's mainly up to you, AK.
why is it up to me?
Because I mean, me and Ming are close with Julian. We're gonna want him.
Yeah, but it's up to the group. So
biased.
if you guys, okay, but something I don't understand, because like I said, this is our 6. So when you're saying involving him, what are you saying? Like, because like you said this as a segue of us getting randoms on the turf, like, or
no,
are
I'm
you
not
saying
talking about
that?
the randoms. I'm talking about like our core, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Okay.
I think it would be super beneficial having him.
No,
Like,
I understand,
super beneficial.
Fanny. You think it's a good idea. I get it. Again, like this is our 6. So, but and then we have Desmond as well.
And Hazel.
Yeah, and Hazel. I mean, Hazel doesn't do much except fucking send us money, but I don't mind, to be honest.
Well, I learned today that Hazel is helping fund Jaeger's house. So
yeah, but if you ask him for money, he's gonna send you money. He's basically just a fucking money
he's
bag.
really nice.
And he's okay with it, so who cares? But at the end of the day, like if we're doing shit, then it's gonna be us doing it. Like that is how it be. So I mean, if you guys wanna include somebody and all of you guys wanna do it, then I think we do it. It's group majority. I don't know the guy, so I'm not. I can't say yes. Like for me, it's.
I mean, listen. At the same time, I'm looking at this like a non-biased point of view. Like from my biased point of view, I'd want him in the group. But if you don't know him enough, then, for example, let's say if you bought somebody, right? And
it's kind of like the doctors, right? You know,
exactly. Like
no. I never wanted the doctors to be in the.
You should get to know him before. You see what I'm saying? Like I don't want to bring somebody into the group that you don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
If we're gonna be fair and unbiased, right? Like that's like I think that's the first way to look at it.
For me, and I might be tripping, but for me, I don't see a reason to bring in more people in the core group personally. And that's my mindset, and maybe I'm tripping with that.
I think you're right. I think we need more core adjacent, if that makes sense, because we don't have any like other people to rely on.
Well, I mean,
what do you mean?
Especially when we have to hold our turf in the future.
Yeah, well, I mean, we most definitely do, but.
Well, it's two separate conversations. Like, if we're talking about including 6 additional people on our turf, we're talking about people that are on the turf, but that doesn't necessarily mean that
How about we do this then? I think this is a great way to deal with the situation. We bring Julian in to help hold the turf down, and Ake gets to know him over time, and over time he could maybe, you know, eventually, you know, if it's needed, you know, be a part of this, right? But for now, we bring him onto the turf.
But at the same time, forward, like, I'm gonna be real, like, I ain't tripping hard enough where, like, if I don't fuck with someone and all of you guys do, that's not a problem for me.
Yeah, but we could take it slow, right? We could bring him into the turf, help us hold the turf down, right?
Yeah, I'm just saying,
Step
at the
by
end of the day,
step.
like, I'm all for democracy. I'm not gonna be some fucking stop block if you guys wanna do something, so I'm all good with whatever. But for me, like, the people right here and Desmond, that's in my eyes,
Yeah, that's our core.
That's my group. So, like,
Yeah.
and I'm chill with that.
Yeah, I agree.
But again, like, guys, like, I'm being real. Like, if you guys feel a different way and you want to include someone, like, I ain't tripping.
Personally, without the bias shit, I think he'd bring a lot. Like, I mean, I barely seen him, and now he's got 40, 50 grand in his bank account. We could easily fill up fucking racks with that kind of money too. So, you know, I think he would put in the work, like how you've been doing. You know, you go run sanitation. I see Julian running Sani and shit like that. He runs Group 6, Sani.
Yeah. For me, I don't. I mean, you know, I yell at you guys a lot that we need to get our money up and all that shit. But
yeah,
to be like completely honest, I don't really care. Like, yeah, of course I want to get somewhere, but ultimately I just want to be around people that I enjoy spending time with. Like, that's that's where I'm at. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, like, again,
yo,
like,
thank you for the 11 months. Thank you so much.
Some person saying like, it's not my decision, basically, is what I'm saying.
No, I think it should be. Listen, I think it should be a group
I want
decision.
everyone to be comfortable.
Look. Julian's my guy, and I want him to be here with us. Like Ming said, I think he's gonna be a great asset. But at the same time, I don't want people to be like, I don't even know this guy. I barely even know him, and he's part of our group. That makes no sense. You see what I'm saying? I think if that's what we're planning to do is bring him in, and you should get to know him first. It just makes sense.
So my opinion is this: like, I think the best possible outcome would be that we have our 6, and then the remaining 6 that we have on our app or their own group. That I think would be the best possible outcome, and then we work together as a larger scale unit. In my opinion, that would be the absolute ultimate setup. But maybe that's easier to say than to do.
So wait, Void and Ming, why don't we try create some kind of bond with Julian Future, because they were talking about getting a house together.
I was just thinking that
our 6 with their 6 to be a strong fucking bond. I think it would be quite good. Seeing as you, Ming,
wouldn't it be better to have 2 autonomous machines than 1, or like we're already having issues with people taking each other's money and fucking weed and whatever else, but I just think that having that asset of 2 houses and 2 6s is way more, like, that makes way more sense in my head. Dickel, what do you think?
So it's difficult, right? Because how many spots do we have in the weed app?
12.
Yep.
Yes. So essentially, I mean, that's we're kind of cucking ourselves by splitting with the Vagos right now, because I mean that's fucking 6 other people we could have pushing our weed.
I mean, Chad, here's the thing, Chad, right?
That's not.
I want Julian to be a part of the group.
I mean, I don't.
But at the same time, if like AK doesn't know him at all, right? So it just be way to just bring him in without AK even knowing him, right?
Were you listening to the conversation?
Yeah, listen to everything. Nah,
okay.
I've just been sitting here listening.
Okay, but
like I do want him in the group. Just you gotta take bias out of it.
Group or doing 2 individual ones. What's your opinion?
What does that even mean, bringing people into our group, though? You know what I mean?
To me, that means that we would have them in the house and operating with us on a daily basis in here. That's what that means to me. But I don't know, maybe someone sees it differently.
I mean, Julian's already in here every day. I don't really. I mean, am I wrong in that? And he already hanging out with us. I don't know, but that's what I'm not understanding. Everybody's like, hey, we need to bring him into our group.
I think, okay, my personal take on it is just that he feels a little like insecure and what's the word? Like just not secure because he doesn't know if we consider him as like one of our friends, you know? So he's been looking elsewhere. He has verbalized it to me that his preference would be to stick with us because he likes working with everyone. And he has also verbalized explicitly that he wants to get closer with AK because I also have said the same thing to him before. I'm
gonna be real though, like the guy showed up like from nowhere and was really tight with you guys, and then he calls me on my phone and tells me, hey, I'm really tight with everyone. And I want, if you have time, it would be great if we can spend some time bonding so we can get closer. And to me, it just seems
that was
like
kind of me telling him to do that. Because
okay. Yeah, I felt that was kind of weird, to be honest.
Yeah, sorry, that was me. But it was because I just, like, out of everyone here, surprisingly, the best person he can work with is you, AK. I like you guys would be crazy together. Actually crazy. Like, you know how I wanted you to come to that conversation with me yesterday? Like, you and him are like perfect together. I don't think either of you realize.
Like me,
okay, of course, you're Slay K, and no one's like you. But you guys, he will just buff you. You know, he'll just give you all the boosted stats. He'll be like the perfect support for you. And I just think it's crazy that out of everyone here, he's
my point is this, Funny. To me, it kind of seemed like he showed up and he thought it was a guaranteed that we'd all pull up together. And
no, he definitely doesn't think that. He's actually looking into like joining another group.
Okay. Okay.
Which is why I wanted to bring this up today, so that to see if we can tell him to not, because I just think it would be perfect. And I'm not biased at all, because I genuinely, like, I just met him last week, but he has like really good connections. Has a good business mindset. He's loyal as fuck. He's been teaching me so much.
I got that. But with everything you're saying, to me, it sounds like it would be better to have him in charge of the secondary 6 and have them set up in a house. No,
you think so? Well, whatever you think is good. I didn't even consider that.
No, it's not whatever I think is good. It's whatever we think is good. That's what matters. But
I didn't even
in terms of
that,
efficiently and getting shit done, I think it's definitely a much smarter decision.
I think I'm kind of selfish, to be honest. Like, oh my god, there's a dog in here. I'm selfish, and I think if I had to, like, if we were like voting on it or whatever, I would want Julian as like a 7th instead of the leader of a second group.
Suggestion ahead, obviously, let him help us sell on the turf, and that way we can all bond with him. And if everyone is happy at a later date, then we can do that. I think that's probably the best way to go ahead with it, instead of just saying, yeah, he's in, you know, understand? Yeah. So everyone has a fair assessment of Julian, and we can go from there. But I mean, we pretty much spend most days with him anyway, so it's only gonna be a couple. It won't take long, you know.
Yeah, I just want the benefits for our group, you know. That's what I mean by selfish. Like, I want our group to benefit. I don't want a second subgroup to benefit from like the money and the connections that he has. I want it to be for us.
Yeah, I get that. I think when I say that we have 2 resources, you guys think of it way too separately. I don't know. Like, I'm gonna be real. I feel like all of you guys want this to happen, so I think we should just do it, to be honest, and just skip the bullshit.
Yeah, but see, I feel like you feel like your hand's being forced. You see what I'm saying, AK?
I'm really like not like listen for it. Like, I'm a lot of things, but I'm not someone that, like, I wouldn't say this and then be upset about it. Like, that's not really how I operate. So like, I just my focus is making sure we do what we need to do and do it as efficiently as possible. And if this is something you guys want to do, we should do it.
I think it would bring efficiency. I think having a second group is just going to complicate more things. You know what I mean? Like,
I get that. I understand that you guys think that Julian will do a shit ton of work and give us money and all that kind of stuff. I get that part. For me, I want to operate with players I fuck with, and I know I fuck with you guys. And in my mind, like that's chill with me. But if you guys want to include other people, we do that. Like it's really like you guys. I feel like you guys are afraid to hurt feelings or step on toes.
Yeah, we are because we want everyone to be happy. I want everyone to be happy. I don't want anyone's feelings to be hurt.
It's not about stepping on toes. Like I'm just saying it's like most fair way possible. Okay, if we're gonna invite somebody to the house, I want like obviously I think it's in everyone's best interest that everybody someone knows and likes that person, right? If like for example, I'm just saying if AK doesn't know a person, obviously it's gonna be uncomfortable for AK to have someone in the house he doesn't fucking know, right? I'm looking at it like, listen, I want
like,
look,
brought some random bum to the house, you know, and he started going through the computer and shit. I'd be like, what the fuck is going on?
Like, listen, I want Julian in the house. I think he should live here with us. But at the same time, I don't want to make people uncomfortable because you didn't even know the guy, right? Like you said, you don't know him.
I'm not gonna be uncomfortable regardless.
Right, but it'll be better if you knew him and then he moved in, right? No, like thinking of it from like common sense.
Yeah, but you're putting me in a kind of weird situation. I'm gonna be real, cause what if I meet him and I don't fuck with him?
Then we don't
bring him.
Yeah, but that's the big. So CAK just a sign that even bigger issue. You don't know him. You want him to move in. He moves in, then you don't fuck with him. It's gonna be even harder then, right? It's even a bigger issue.
No, but I can operate with that. Like it's not an issue for me. It's not gonna cause a fight.
I mean, is this whole conversation just about him moving into the house? I don't really understand.
I think so. Yeah.
So why don't we just say, hey, Julian wants to move in?
But that's what they've been saying.
Yeah, but why is it got to be like? I feel like this is getting like super complicated and complex when it shouldn't be. It's just, hey, Julian moving in.
I mean,
well, think about it like this, right? Because if I brought some random person that you didn't know into the house, gave him a key, and he started going through your weed stash, taking weed and shit, then how would you feel about it?
I would just fucking leave, straight up.
Okay, so that's exactly the problem we're trying to avoid. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, but this conversation is okay. Never mind. I'm just gonna listen again.
You know, I think if this goes through, I think he should pay some money for like, I guess server racks and GPUs because we all put money into the house.
Funny, it's great, but that's not the issue. Like, there's a lot of people with a lot of money that we could bring in that could just pay for shit. Like that's.
I'm gonna say this. I think me and Nick on the same. I don't hang out with people because of how much money they make. I hang out with people because I like them. You see, there's a big difference. I want to hang out with people. I think that's what AK wants too. You know.
Yeah, I agree. But I'm saying if it does happen, like this is just a side note. If it does happen and we are cool with him, then he should have like a buy-in for the house. It's just a side note.
Yeah.
I don't think so. If we like someone and we just invite them, they don't have to buy in. It doesn't matter.
We can. It's not the crossroad we're at. It's fine. I just kind of feel like all of you guys want to do this, and like, I get what you guys are saying, like, and we keep kind of going in circles here. But as the old one out here, I'm saying I don't think it's an issue.